Hello, guys. Today I want to talk about augmented reality game for people with traumatic brain injury. So this paper described the conceptualization and development of prototype game, which use augmented reality to provide cognitive simulations and support for individuals with TBI. The game is designed to play on a smartphone, a tablet device, and involves tasks such as memory challenge, problem solving, and attention exercise. They also do some small usability tasks. And overall, the paper provides an interesting and innovative explanation for the potential of the augmented reality game for the individual with TBI. So before we start the paper, let us define what is TBI. So TBI is traumatic brain injury. It's an acute brain injury result from mechanical energy to the head from external physical force. And they could affect the three parts. And first one is the physical part. You may get headache, and you could have you could be sensitive with the sound, and you could get dry eyes. And for the cognitive part, and it may cause some memory issues. And for the emotion part, you may feel anxiety, aggressive, and depression. So for the TBI patients, actually, the TBI mostly affect young people between the age 15 and 25, and the may be affect more twice as often as female. And also the rate of native Maori becomes significantly higher than the other population. So the TBI could cause a lot of issue, and the most common issue is our memory, attention, and concentration. And the memory problem will be like very noticeable. So the memory issues often cause another area of rehabilitation because memory is like kind of critical to learning techniques and other rehabilitation relies on. So because those factors are combined together for the mid-case TBI, so they may have a noticeable long-term cognitive impairment. But some of these symptoms could not be very clear to recognize. And the impact of TBI could also influence the people who around them, like their families, their friends. They could increase the level of depression and anxiety for them. That could create some relationship problems and could decrease some like income. So actually, to solve this kind of problems, we have some traditional rehabilitation. And the most common and useful method is individual post-injury rehabilitation. But this issue, like this thing have a lot of limitation. And the first thing is you should have a doctor's referral. And the second one is you have to identify which accident which caused these symptoms. And the third one is it should be less than 1 year post-injury. So it's cause a lot of issues like, oh, you need to have like individual you need to have a doctor with like qualification to help you, and you need to know which cause this symptoms, and also and all those things should happen in the 1 year. So it's really quite a lot of limit, and it's quite expensive. So to solve this problem, we got some service assistant, which we mention is a SYNC, which is the organization, and the Brain Injury Association. But some study report that the group memory rehabilitation does not significantly impact memory performance in those tests. And and we all know that we want to use augmented reality to combine with some traditional, to combine with some rehabilitation ways to, in the future. So we should like identify which is, which is augmented reality. And augmented reality is a view of real physical world that could incorporate with some additional visual information like panel, canvas, like information, task, message, image, kind of like that. And we using the AI for rehabilitation have an advantage because it could make your the environment that's more real, like more like the real world. So so our authors gave us like some examples to like some like inspiration board to explain what he want to do. And now and he, as an example, the game Ceremon, and use the set of like physical functional and to engage the users to use a visual card to to engage user in this visual card matching games. And then we got the Paraburst.
Paraburst Memory is an augmented reality memory game that was developed during a class at New York University's Interactive Telecommunications program by Craig Kapp and Nisma Zaman. The game was made for the inpatient children at NYU's Rusk Institute of Rehabilitation Medicine. The game consists of a board with fiducial markers that a webcam translates to animated characters on a screen. The center marker is used to orient the board, and the other 8 markers contain 4 sets of animals. The goal of the game is to find each pair of animals by uncovering the tiles 2 at a time. Each time a match is found, the pair of animals will jump off their squares and land in their designated spot in the center, and the squares they jump out of will change to green check marks.
Yeah!
You found the border pattern.
Yeah!
Oh, yay!
You found the sheep.
All right.
When the player has found all 4 sets of animals, they all pop out for a dance party.
Cool, Pamela.
They're having a dance party.
Look, they're dancing.
That was the fastest time I think I've ever seen this game get beaten.
Yeah, that was amazing. You got the move too. Look, he's dancing.
So in this game, we could say they use augmented reality, and they use a little, they use a lot of like funny, like interest, like good way to stimulate the users really into this game. Like they use the animals, like they use the background music, and after the children, they successfully match the cards, and the animals could dance together. It's like, so I think it's really interesting. It's really fun example for the augmented reality to combine the card match games with augmented reality technology. And the second one is Levelhead. It's another very inspiration, it's creative, like spatial memory game. For this game, I think it's like also like super creative game. They just use the simple cube and with some mark, and they could create a game like this, and like the characters really locked in the cube, and combined with those background music, like secret background music, that like you really have like some special task you need to finish, and you really need to escape from this cube, and it's I think it's really fun. It's a really good example. And this one is IM.
Join the 30,000 plus professionals worldwide that are IM certified. Discover the scientific evidence behind IM and learn hands-on practical application for improving outcomes in the areas of cognitive, communicative, motor, sensory, and academic performance.
When you come to this course, you're learning a whole lot about timing in the brain and just how important it is to all that you do as a therapist. Most of the interventions we do in therapies, I would consider top-down. You're asking them to do something that the brain isn't really ready to do. With interactive metronome, you're going in from the very bottom and you're working at a very fundamental level. Timing is at the heart of everything that we do as a human.
The difference with us and other CEU courses is that we are interdisciplinary. We are interactive. Participants move around and they bounce ideas off of each other, and it's a problem-solving environment from the minute they start.
Instead of it being theory, you're actually putting into practice what we're teaching you throughout the entire day.
Doing the exercises myself, not only does it give me empathy for my patient, but it also helps me be a better clinician.
Some of the population that I work with really have difficulty with timing, especially in their gait sequence, and put them at a fall risk, and I thought that it would be beneficial to decrease their risk of falls and increase their quality of life.
We don't get reimbursed unless you're doing something that really works. So
this game is try to help the users to learn the rhythm and timing kind of things by the various movement of the hand and feet. That's always very creative. I like it. So after show those examples, and I will also get the designer considerations. And the first one is the movement have been observed to have learning, memorizing new information, and problem solving. And we believe that rehabilitation of TBI-related memory issue that emphasizes the movement could be effective. So they then create the game concept, and this is a screenshot, on the left. And to show their prototype, they choose the simple match card pairs game to implement as an AR game and use some consumer level mobile device. And also the game will be centered on the user's physical space, and they aim to maximize the connection with the real space to the game space. So the game is focused on the treatment of long-term memory issue and target the young audience, which is the largest group affected by TBI. So they when they design this project, they use a lot of they do a lot of experiments, like they try to use a visual marker in the environment or the mobile sensor-based system. And they also have document how could they got the support for the transference, and they use the wiki too. to say that the same system is like really powerful. So they use the free academic license of the WikiTube, and this could support some current mobile technology, and they also combine the GPS with a signal of opportunity. So they also do some visual variation tests. So they have some tasks. The task 1 is determine the layout of their prototype that would allow easy interaction in the mobile device. And task 2 is identify likely movement patterns with gameplay. So for the visual variation testing, they got single rows with multiple rows, and they figure out the multiple rows actually have like a greater movement range than the single row layout. And they also test the phone with tablet, and for the phone, it's difficult to manipulate objects in that small screen. And for the left tablet, it's better. The screen size is better, but because the size and weight of device, so they may let them worry about the device will drop off. Not drop off. And then they put the prototype in use. They have like some user test participant is author itself, like himself, and the two filter he or she themselves, and two further participants. And they have observation, like even though they use 3 layers of card, but they found their after the play test, they found their arms get tired, and they also have some like glitchy bugs. So here's a discussion and the conclusion. So for the technology consideration part, they said they need to obtain the higher accuracy mobile position data and remain, to remain the critical of card match application. And for the gameplay, they want to explore the possibilities of the card game, and they want to explore the more interesting patterns in the environment, and and also do not let user feel their arms are tired after the play in this game. And for the game complexity, people with memory impairments may have been observed to avoid some specific types of, specific type of tasks. So they try to encourage them, to force them to use this ability, like to finish this kind of repetitive tasks. And also for the usability and usefulness, and the further research is also need to into the dimension of the device used by the target group. And yeah, the game still need to be explored more to improve the memory. And then here's my opinion of this paper, like of this project. And to be honest, sorry, I will be a little bit mean, but it's kind of like my real feeling after I finished read this paper. Yeah, let me start. So the first question I want to ask is like, why they want to use the matching card pair games? And I think actually, I think it's kind of unclear game selection clarifications. They do not explain why the card pair game is the best, like better than other types of games. Actually, I don't want to be that mean, but I kind of get it when I see the example that the authors, like designers, show to us, but they still do not explain why they think that's the best choice. And the article emphasized the relationship between the memory and the movement, but does not emphasize why designers believe the card game had an advantage over another game. And they could even like create a fighting game, but when you are fighting, you could do some math or like you could memorize something, we could like still do something like that. And yeah, I know it's a kind of like ridiculous example, but I just want the authors to explain more why they want to choose this kind of game. And also among the card game itself, why the matching card game will be better than another card games. And the second question is why augmented reality? So I think the problem is the equipment selection for the poor reason. Yeah, I should I should say the augmented reality have a lot of potentials in the future treatment of the TBI patients, but is AR really necessary for this game? And AR created potential, yeah, provide more realistic environments for that's available in people's everyday life. But is AR really necessary for this card matching game? In my mind, just my opinion, and you should just play a card matching game as a digital version. And why I use AR? Because AR, it's kind of like expensive. It's kind of like a lot of more work than their like a simple digital game, right? And if you like want to achieve this kind of goals, you could use even just create a card game in your phone, and you let someone to help you to move the phone. And it's like, so I'm a little bit confused. I don't think that the designer really understand the functions or the features of the augmented reality. And the second, the third questions I want to ask is a usability test. And the first one is why the author is a participant? We are doing the usability test, right? But author, you are the person who designed this game, and why you have to join this task? And you will definitely be the person know everything. Why you want to join this task? It's not. I don't think it's good. And also, is it possible to let the real TBI patients to join the test? Because although I know they said in the future I will let more target users join us to like improve this, but I don't think that's the thing. Sorry, I'm a little bit mean. I don't think that's the thing you should finish in the future. I think this kind of things you should do now, because they may have a like totally different experience between the normal humans. Sorry, I don't know if that's offensive, like, but you know what I mean. It's like, so I think is a really good is a kind of good way just to invite the participants into this project and let them to identify is that good or not. Just not in the future, just do it now. So here's my conclusion and recommendations. So actually, I totally agree with the author's efforts of memory impairments of TBI patients, and also think the author's plan to use the AR game to reduce the treatment cost and shorten the treatment time of TBI patients is very promising in the future. Like, it's really, really, really a good idea, and I really appreciate it. But I don't think the authors have really use the features of AR technology well in this project. I think the designer could update the project after in-depth research on TBI patients. I really want the designers and authors to do some user research before they they start this project. It's not like, oh, in series, blah 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 blah, and we have data with it, blah 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 blah. I think they need to really interview the real patient, the real person, to get them real feedback, to get them the worries about them in their daily life. And I hope that project will add more gameplay besides matching game to increase the fun of game. Because in this prototype, I don't think it's truly fun. It didn't like the example that the author showed us before. It's not that fun. Yeah, you got what I mean. It's not that fun. Sorry. So thank you, and thank you for the presentation, and hope you have a nice day. Bye.